Hello and welcome to episode 161 of Nintendo Therapy, a show about the latest news and rumors, plus a celebration of all things Nintendo. My name is Harrison, and joining me today to talk about Nintendo and then tell me their favorite fruit is Kevin. What is it?
Hello, pineapple, easy.
Pineapple.
King of
And
fruits.
Sean.
I was not prepared.
So, what's your favorite fruit? Mine is mango. What is yours?
Oh, those are both pretty good ones, guys. Can't be boring and pick apple. We'll go with
Sure.
apple.
That's like my third favorite.
keeps keeps doctors away somehow, allegedly.
Sure, you're talking like Pink Lady, um, like Gala. I really don't know
You-
Apple. Johnny Smith.
We've lost every viewer.
Okay. You guys,
A Nintendo podcast, you
you
went
listeners like
downhill.
fruit, don't you? Don't you? Or just Cheetos, or just or
They're
Funyuns.
rambling about fruit. Yeah.
It. Anyways, I'm so glad you guys are here today. And Kevin, you said pre-show you don't have a lot, so you want to do your year of backlog, and then we'll jump into a fun segment today.
Yeah, that sounds good. So this week I finished Kingdom Rush, which
Okay.
it was a net zero week for me on backlog because I finished Kingdom Rush, but I added Monster Hunter Rise because of that incredible sale you guys told me about. I could
You're
not
welcome.
resist. It was like
Ah,
90% off or something crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Kingdom Rush though, finished that this week. I've had that on the docket since like 2011. I had it on my iPad, and it's a really good tower defense game. If anyone's 2011, those early 2010s were huge for tower defense. I feel like there were so many tower defense games, and that was one of the better ones. So if anyone is nostalgic for that era, looking to go back, it's got some cool voice acting, some good strategy. It's one of the better ones. I don't remember what it costs on the eShop, but I'm sure it's still available on mobile or iPad or something. It's all over the place.
I feel like that was a time in gaming where games that weren't like there's an Assassin's Creed that part of the gameplay is tower defense. And it has nothing to do with anything. It's just a gameplay mechanic for part of the game. So there was a period there where everybody was trying it.
Yeah, I wonder what the first one technically was. I know Final Fantasy VII has that Mount Condor thing, which is basically a tower defense game. Like, I'd love to know like the history. I'm sure they go like all the way back and we don't even realize it. Like, there's probably
Probably.
an Atari tower defense game or something.
Uh,
Um,
Tower defense games were popular like in the Flash era, like when like Flash games were really popular.
yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
I don't I don't know if that's just because of like the small engine that you would play it on. But it's still popular. Like if you look at balloons, like I've tried to get into
Oh
balloons,
yeah.
but I tried to get into that game, but it's like 15 years old now or so, like Bloon 6. So there's so much content. That's the good part if you ever want to get into it. It's like you have like years and years of things to play, but yeah, I don't really
Yeah, it
get
was
it.
yeah,
never a
the
genre
Pixel
I
Junk
was
Monsters series is
that
pretty
was the
good
other
too.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never got big into them. I feel like there was probably a Wii U one where I was just desperate for anything on the Wii U that I played.
Mhm.
But at this point, I don't even remember what it would have been. But never been huge on that genre.
Well, this is probably going to be one of the last year of the backlog X's I put on the board in a little bit because I'm not going to finish Octopath Traveler anytime soon, and a lot of what I
Oh
have
no.
left on the board there is hefty games. Like you got Final Fantasy VI, Dragon Quest III, Skyward Sword. I'm just looking at the graphic we have up here. Lego Star Wars, Lego Marvel, Suikoden, like a lot of long games. So this is the last time I'll have a weekly year of the backlog update, I think.
Well, not too bad. You put a dent in it so far, so that's good.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's also on sale currently if you want to really get out of hand. But Splintered Fate added Apex to the roster of playable
Is that how it's
characters.
pronounced?
I believe so. They say it in the dialogue in the game, and
Oh, I've never heard. I pronounced it Alopex.
maybe it's Alopex. I don't
No,
know.
I'm probably wrong if they're saying it in the game, man. I've never heard any. I've only seen it in a comic book, so I don't
No,
know.
no, I know. This is the first time I've heard it said. I think it's Alopex. Anyway, she's the fox ninja. She's got like dual scythes. She's a little overpowered, which is, okay. One of the things as I've been playing through it, so I think you have to beat Shredder 7 or 8 times to get the actual ending. So I think I've done like 3 right now. Um, I can't tell where in IDW this is supposed to be taking place. So that's the part I still haven't been able to nail down because there's no Krang stuff in this game. Shredder's still around, but Rat King and some of those people are involved. So I don't know if it's just in universe in this game and it's not actually happening in the comic continuity, but
Yeah, I don't think the comic is going to respect it as part of. You you know what that reminds me of? I don't want to get too far off track, but this happens all the time with movie tie-in games, like especially a few of the Spider-Mans I can think of, where they're like, "Oh, this is in continuity with the movies." And then the next movie comes out and it's like, "No, it wasn't. It had none of that stuff happened." So, um oh, the MTV Spider-Man show too did the same thing. They
oh
were like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is
Yep.
this is in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man." And then Spider-Man 2 came out and it's like, "No, it wasn't."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's probably what this is. It's using the characters from IDW, but probably not necessarily. It's like a parallel universe to IDW, probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I know it's probably sacrilege and I still haven't got to Hades 2, but I'm kind of digging this one more than Hades, but I'm a turtle guy, so I guess that makes sense. But it's on sale. So,
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you wanna.
yeah, and it's like one of the top ones as well. Yeah, it's the unfortunate part of roguelikes right now because I'm looking
Oh yeah.
at Mugenics, but then I'm looking over at Hades 2. Like I still haven't played Hades. So it's like Hades 2 this year. That's gonna be a
Oh,
long.
I'm
That's
already
gonna be a long
dreading
game.
for when we come on and Harrison goes, "Oh, Mugenics is on Switch."
Yeah,
Because I know I'm gonna get it.
that's gonna be soon because we got however you say it, Cud, Caves of Cud, like
Oh yeah,
finally.
yeah,
and
yeah.
and and I was telling you guys I was an undergraduate in college when I first heard of that game. Like it was like 2010 when it was first announced. So it's gonna be at some point. There's just so many games where it's like, oh yeah, it's just inevitable that it'll come to
Oh yeah,
Switch. and
absolutely.
and it but it is it'll probably be like a $30 game when it's on there. Maybe it'll be 20. Maybe it'll surprise me. That maybe a tax won't be
It'll
so.
probably be 30 because I think Caves is 30. I think Splintered Fate with the DLC maybe 30,
Mhm. On
but
Steam,
I
on
think
Steam, I think in the US it's like 20. So, um,
yeah.
it's probably over 100 hours that you could put into it. Too many roguelikes.
Well, we
Too
said it
many good ones.
last week. This might be one of the few times I 100% one of these types of games. So
Yeah,
we'll
hell
see.
yeah. Yeah.
So you
Well,
get kind of a cool segment.
okay, so um this week the online discourse, I'm come here to announce that the online discourse has not gotten any better. And that's not a surprise to anyone, actually. But a big topic, and we've brought up um, Wood Hawker beat 'em ups on here before, maybe criticized him. He did a video that actually made a lot of the opposite people mad, that, like made a lot of the fanboys mad, um, because he made a video basically critiquing the Switch 2, and he did his typical clickbait stuff. I watched it; it was a good video. Like I had no problem with it. But that's been a lot of discourse this week. I've seen like people with a Switch 2 saying it's been a great year and there's still games coming. And then people that are like, there's no 3D Mario. And like I'm somewhere kind of in the middle of that. What I wanted to do today is not really critique it too much, but decide which home console for Nintendo has had the best launch year. And for launch year, we're going to stick with like the North American part for the most
Okay.
part. And then we can see not only what the best launch year for a home console is, but maybe add a little bit of nuance to it. Because I think when you start to look at the actual first years of these consoles, a lot of things start to stand out. So, positive and negative. Before we do that, I will share my quick thoughts on the Switch 2, which we've had for 8 months now, and I'm the one person that doesn't have a Switch 2 yet. My opinion is pretty decent. We've had some pretty big names so far, not like the
Mm.
really big titles, but we know that's coming. And the variable pricing is weird, but I have a lot of positivity overall. So that's my quick thought on it. Kevin, first 8 months, what do you think about the Switch 2 so far?
Well, I'm trying to think of how many Switch 2 exclusives I've bought. It might just be Bonanza. Um, I can't
Yeah,
think. I was
Metroid's
like,
not. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I bought the Switch 2 version of Metroid, but it's not. You're right. I so just Bonanza. I was looking forward to Mario Tennis, but the $70 price tag I think is the thing that did it for me, and
And World,
I was a no on that.
Mario
Hmm?
Kart World, because you got the bundle, right?
Mario Kart World, no, I don't have World.
Oh,
I got the by itself Switch 2. I didn't get the bundle.
never mind. Never mind. Never mind.
So yeah, it's pretty much just so far Bonanza. Bonanza was really good. I'm gonna definitely play that game again at some point, just like I did with Odyssey. I'm not gonna 100% it again, um, but I'll
Mm.
definitely do another playthrough. Um, it's you know, it's like you said, the good we know the good stuff is coming. I'm very happy with having GameCube on NSO, which I've played a few times. I especially like Luigi's Mansion. That was great. It's you know kind of cheating pulling a GameCube game in to prop up the first year of the Switch 2, but I was very happy to play Luigi's Mansion at Halloween. Uh, yeah, I'm happy. I do not regret buying the Switch 2. Unlike there are definitely systems I've bought in my life where I'm like, man, I only bought like 3 games for that thing. So far
Mhm.
I'm happy.
Sean?
I mean, I think the launch was rocky from what I went through getting one, but I mean, for 8 months, other than you have all the previous Switch games work on it, which is great. So the library itself is insanely huge. But I think the big thing with Switch 2 that I really like, and we'll talk about more later on, but third parties fully on board this time. And for the most part, not all of them, but they seem to be getting the games running well on the system. I'm not seeing as many like, "Oh god, this doesn't run and this doesn't run," and because that was always the thing on the first Switch was, "Oh my god, they got Doom 2016 to run on this. That's so like crazy."
Right.
And now it's, Capcom and some of these other companies seem to understand the hardware better and are able to get these games that are running on higher systems running well on a lower powered system. So, I was a little disappointed with Bonanza, but I don't think it's been like a train wreck, it's just been failure after failure for the thing. So, and it's only 8 months in. There's still plenty of stuff coming. And now that we know holiday 2026 is not Pokemon, I guess, necessarily, who the heck knows what's coming end of year. So,
I think Scott the Woz said this in a recent episode. I might be completely wrong, but I'm paraphrasing, and I think it was him. But he said something to the effect of Nintendo doesn't seem like they need those big games right now because they're in such a good place that they're just trying to familiarize people with the idea of a Switch 2. Um, and then I think
Yeah,
recently there was some interview where they said that this is starting now is the turning point, and Nintendo will be focused on Switch 2 going forward. I wish I saw where that was from, but yeah, I think pretty soon we're going to see a switch on the Switches.
Right, right. And Scott the Waz is so funny. He's like the biggest Nintendo fan, but he's also like, guys, who cares, guys?
Yeah.
Like, it's like the games are coming, man. Like, um,
Yep.
so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start with Switch 2. We're gonna work backwards. We're gonna do gauntlet style just to keep it easy in our minds. Whichever one wins goes on to the next round. We'll talk about the first year. Um, we'll kind of keep it North American focused. That'll make more sense as we get further back. Switch
right.
2 launched on June 5th last year. Launch of Mario Kart World. Very strong third party right from the start. Civ 7, Cyberpunk. We had Switch 2, Sonic Shadow Generations, No Man's Sky. Of course, we had Welcome Tour, which not a lot of people liked. July 17th was Bonanza. August 14th was Drag X Drive. October, we had Pokemon Legends ZA and Dragon Quest 1 2 HD 2D remake. In November, we had Metroid, which was not an exclusive, and we also had Kirby Air Riders. And then on February 12th, kind of a big gap there, we had Mario Tennis Fever. And we had changes of hardware, mouse controls, certainly an upgrade from the Switch, and in a lot of ways we could look at it as a pro model, but as we've just mentioned, it's going to be more of a Switch 2 focus, especially that we saw, that the new Pokemon game is going to be a
Right.
Switch 2 exclusive game. Going back to the
Yep.
You've
Switch.
also got
Yes, go
You've
ahead.
also got Yoshi and the Mysterious Book coming in spring, so that could potentially, if it comes out in May or April,
Right, it comes
um,
it comes out within the
be
same
be a
year.
s exactly. That's potentially in the mix.
Right, right. I just put the first 8 months, so we'll kind of do it
Mhm.
like that because we don't know. Yoshi might suck. Who knows? And we also might get we'll get some kind of surprise before it's in. So
Oh yeah.
this could change. But let's compare it with the Switch launch March 3rd, 2017. Launch with Breath of the Wild. You know what it is. It was not a Switch exclusive, but it pretty much was. 1-2 Switch, Super Bomberman R, um, launch of things like snipper clips. There was not third party support from the beginning on this. April 28th, 2017 came Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That sold a ton of consoles. July 21st,
Yep.
same year, Splatoon 2, same year. We're doing the first year only. October 27th was Mario Odyssey. December 1st was Xenoblade Chronicles. And then early in 2018, we got Bayonetta 2 and re-release and Bayonetta re-release. Of course, this is coming after the Wii U. We know what it is with the Wii U. We have Joy Cons, we have motion controls kind of coming back. We have Nintendo Switch Online, and then, of course, starting from the very beginning, we don't have maybe third party support that's too strong, but we do have a very
Mhm.
strong indie library right off the bat that
Yeah.
very first year. So, my pick, I'll just go first. My pick is Switch over Switch to 100%. But that's
Yeah.
not to take away anything really.
No,
Kevin,
I don't think it's even a contest, but I think that's why people are so hard on the Switch 2 is because Switch 1 had such a legendary first year, but people forget it was a different Nintendo at the time. Nintendo was trying to bring people back
th-
where they weren't right now they're just trying to hold people,
Yeah.
which is a different game, you know? So I think it's kind of unfair to compare them because yeah, it's an amazing year. Breath of the Wild was a holdover from the Wii U, which is like you said, not an exclusive, but was great to have on the go. Mario Odyssey, I don't know if they've ever confirmed if that started as a Wii U game, but I have my suspicions because the menus and the pause menus look very Wii U-ish in that game.
It's pretty
Yep.
early on, I bet.
Yeah.
Right, well,
So yeah, it's a great first year. It's a great first year for their system. I'm curious to see how it holds up against some others.
yeah. Yeah, I got one more thing, but Sean, go ahead.
So I'm gonna be the weird one out and actually say Switch 2. I was very hesitant to jump on Switch because I felt so burned by Wii U. So I didn't really jump in till a little later in the year, and Breath of the Wild didn't grab me in quite the same way it grabbed other people.
Well, yeah, you weren't that never that into Zelda. So
For me, it wasn't that huge launch year.
Okay. Well, it's still 2-1, so we're gonna do it that
Yep.
way. But your opinion, but everyone's opinion is valid on here. Just want to make sure everyone knows that. Um, right. What was the last thing I was gonna say for that? Oh yeah, for consumer for any consumer, and again, this is not a segment where we will be too critical of this, but remember, uh, we got really good Switch games, in my opinion, um, because the Nintendo was in a really bit like desperate spot to get people back to their system. And now, since they're maybe holding, perhaps we want to kind of get them more in that spot where they're not as comfortable. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I'm kind of in the middle on that. So, Switch moves on. The Switch moves on, and now it is the Switch versus, and we already get to have fun now. The Wii U. Wii U was launched November 18th, 2012, launched with New Super Mario Bros. U, Nintendo Land, games like Zombie IU, I don't know, Assassin's Creed 3. November 30th, there was a Wii U Deluxe digital promotion that was an early adopter with that. And then I put Mar- March 2013, there was no major first party releases. And then August 4th, you had Pikmin 3. September 20th, you had something called The Wonderful 101. No offense if you like that game. I had to look it up. Um, uh,
it was
Oc-
popular at the time.
October
Mm.
18th, was Zelda Wind Waker HD, and then just over a year, like a few days over a year, November 22nd, 2013, you have Super Mario 3D World. Of course, there was a lot of confusion of this system, and I think I'm gonna leave it at that. There was a lot of confusion of this one. So, this would be like a 116 matchup if I was going Switch and Wii U. It's pretty obvious what I'm picking, but Kevin, is there any like if they're playing in March Madness, like can the Wii U go on any kind of run with anything they got going on this first year?
I mean, if we were going off of overall enthusiasm, I think I had more enthusiasm, like Sean said, when the Wii U launched,
Yeah.
because they talked a big game about having lots of third party support and that they were going to focus more on the adult audience now, like the PlayStation 3 was doing, and that we saw it in the beginning with like Assassin's Creed and Zombie University and a couple of more like mature titles like that. But then it just kind of all like evaporated and
Yeah.
nothing came of it. So it's just such an interesting era to have lived through because with the Switch, I was excited to get a new Zelda game, and I just bought it on Switch because I was like, "Oh, cool! This way, I'll be able to take it to work." Um, But with the Wii U, I was excited for a new Nintendo system, and I don't feel like I had that with the Switch, even though I feel like that was a better year. So I'm still picking Switch, but I definitely had more excitement for the Wii U. It just obviously was not a better year. It's just in my hopes it was.
Sean, what do
Yeah,
you
I'm in
got?
the same
Yeah,
boat.
yeah.
I mean, the Switch was the clear winner here, but I too was very excited for the Wii U, and then, like I said, it was just, oh, a game came out for it. Oh, I got to get that. Like it was
Yeah.
literally like grasping for scraps. And I think at the time the only thing I had for consoles was the Wii U. So it was just like, oh, that's something. So I played a lot of weird stuff that I don't think I would have normally played because I just was desperate for anything to justify having the thing.
Like, it says a lot that Lego City Undercover probably wound up
Yeah,
being, like, the best game on that system that's not a remake.
Right,
yeah.
right, right. And I know it's mostly trolls online, but anyone that says like the Switch 2 is the new Wii U, just look at the games that like if we had this on Switch
They've already
2,
sold more, I
if we had
think.
this on
Yeah.
yeah, it already sold more, but if we had this like this kind of lineup for the first year of Switch 2, yes, we would be like, "Come on, Nintendo!" Like, what the hell, right? Like, one remake. Like we were promised all of these things, right? So obviously, it's not. Yeah, it's different. So,
They
um,
literally had me believing that, like, GTA 5 might come to the Wii U at one point. Like, you remember those talks? Because
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was so much talk about how, like, "No, we're not gonna be the family-friendly system anymore. We get that gaming has matured." Anyway, we gotta move on, but I just remember such
right,
a
right,
different time.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Um, The Wii is next. Now, the Wii, I think, is the most fascinating launch year of any launch year because of the significance of this console overall. But if you look at the launch
Mhm.
year just as a snapshot, you might not get that. But you
Hmm.
might, depending on how you feel about this, because Wii Sports as a pack-in was so monumental. I mean, it was like a cultural monumental thing back in the day. I wish we could go back, guys. Things were just easier
Hmm.
back then, honestly. Anyways, it launched November 19th, 2006. If you could get one back then, I couldn't day one. Um,
No, me either.
yeah. Uh,
I somehow did. So yeah.
it launched with Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess, uh, Excite Truck, Red Steel. So,
Yeah.
so chances are, if you got a Wii the first day you were playing Wii Sports. There's a good chance of that. Uh, so launch end of 2006, early 2007. You don't see too much. So this is the big part. Like everyone wants a Wii, but there's not too many games for it. But the top game, the packing game, is doing really really
Yeah.
well. And keep in mind, we don't have a packing game. We don't really have a packing game after Wii Sports. So there might be a reason for that. August 27th, 2007, Metroid Prime 3.
I'm just
October.
gonna say it because I know somebody out there is arguing it, Nintendo Land, but to get Nintendo Land, you had to buy the bigger hard drive system, so it wasn't included in both versions, doesn't count. I know
Yeah.
somebody out there saying
Yeah, I said
it.
kind of. I said, you
Yeah.
know, I consider that to be more of like a bundle, you know.
Mhm.
Mm.
October 29th, Mario Galaxy. November 19th, Resident Evil, The Umbrella Chronicles. That's really all I got for year one. Some third party, some indie, and of course this is motion controls kind of help redefine mainstream gaming. And every console tried it. Every console did motion controls at some point. So yeah, this one's really fascinating. Just looking at it overall. I'm going last. Sean, I'm starting with you. So right now we have the Switch, we have the Wii. So which one would you go with for just the first year only?
I would go with the Switch versus the Wii because of the fact that the big thing with the Wii was it opened things up to people that don't play video games, but it wasn't like retirement homes were getting a Wii because one person there's like, "I wanna play Metroid Prime 3 Corruption." They were getting it for Wii Sports, and that was it, and they never bought anything ever again for it. So, I I I think for a launch year, it really isn't anything crazy in comparison to the Switch, so
I'd like to think there's at least one retirement home that's like that. Get out of the way! I want to play Metroid Prime. No, I don't.
They got Call of Duty and they killed some more Nazis.
oh, yeah,
Uh,
Call of Duty coming to Wii.
Yeah.
okay, okay, all right. Not so SEO friendly, but let's go. Kevin, Wii and Switch.
Um, so the Wii is the most upsetting launch for me from Nintendo. Um, I've said on here before it's the only Nintendo system I wasn't able to get day one. I don't remember why I didn't pre-order one, but I just remember having days sitting in the Toys R Us parking lot, calling them, asking if they got any in because there were other stores in that lot. So I would just call each one to see if any of them
Yeah,
got it. It took me until like mid 2007 to get one. And in the meantime, I had, like Sean said, casual people were getting them. And I would go over friends' houses that were like a friend of a friend who's just like throwing a party, and they would hear that I was super into Nintendo. So they'd be like, oh yo, you're super into Nintendo. Like I got this Wii, like I'm playing this Zelda game because I heard it was good. And I'm like, yeah, I'm desperate to have that game right now. You don't deserve that game. I do. So same thing goes with oh, what did I really want in the beginning? There was Twilight Princess, but there was something else. Oh, Super Paper Mario. I was like super upset I couldn't play. Like I had a friend who bought it just because he thought it was like a normal Mario game. Anyway, yeah, I'm going with Switch. I didn't get a Wii until like a year in, and I was very happy once I finally got one. But yeah, there's not a lot there in that year.
I would go with Switch, but uh, the the Wii launched at $200, didn't it? It launched
Yeah, I
it
think that was part of the problem is they flew off the
yeah.
shelves.
right, right. Because like even if you factor in the inflation, like that's at such a low price point where you're like, yeah, just for the pack-in game alone. Because
Mhm.
at the time I was
Two
buying a Wii to play Wii Sports, and that that wasn't silly back then because the idea of
250, I
having
just looked it up, but still good.
right,
Yeah.
right. I mean, it was low enough that at the time I think I had like I was I was a kid, but after like I had like got rid of my GameCube, whatever, I mean I was able to buy it once we found one. But that's it. Very fascinating year, and then Switch moves on. We're about to move on to a really heavy year. Now this one is also extremely unique with the GameCube, which launched also at the end of the year, November 18th, 2001. Launched with Luigi's Mansion, Wave Race, Wave Race, Blue Storm, Star Wars, Rogue Squadron, and we all know that the GameCube probably didn't sell as well overall in the long run. It was not a strong technical showcase. There was no Mario at launch, but there was still a lot of excitement around this system. December 3rd, just a few weeks after that, was Smash Brothers Melee. Early 2002, it was different in Japan. Was Pikmin. Pikmin came out a little bit earlier in Japan, December 2001. August 26th was Super Mario Sunshine. September 30th, 2002, Star Fox Adventures. And then exactly 1 year after the GameCube was released was Metroid Prime. Um, did I forgot Animal Crossing, and Animal Crossing releases in this first year as well.
Oh my.
Like what the hell am I doing? The one game I should include on here is that one. So I don't know. I knew this was I knew we were gonna have this matchup. Switch and GameCube, and this one is super tough for me. I had both, in the first year, I think. Kevin, you got a lot to say, so go ahead.
I'm going with GameCube. I've got like all the games that you mentioned from the launch year. um, it's probably the year in my GameCube library that is most well represented. I love like, they're all my favorite GameCube games, and they all came out that first year. So yeah, uh, I'm going with GameCube.
So it started Luigi's Mansion. That's huge. It
Yeah.
started Animal Crossing. That's huge. It
Oh yeah, it was a
started
franchise starter. Good point.
it's
Pikmin.
it started
Yeah.
Pikmin. It started Metroid. It started Metroid Prime. It started that
Mhm.
Yep.
series, and then we still got a 3D Mario, and we got Smash Brothers in the same year. I think
To say
GameCube's.
that
I
was
think
the system that solidified Smash Brothers as a thing.
yes.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Yes, I think GameCube's got it. Um, it's tough, because it is going up against Breath of the Wild and Odyssey, which are like maybe like up there with like best Mario and best Zelda game. But this one started so much. So, Kevin, you went GameCube, correct?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, Sean, and then
It's
Sean,
for sure.
Sean, what would you
I
pick?
get it. I would go GameCube.
I'm going GameCube
So,
also.
so many important things came out that first year. Not that there were no important things in Switch, but yeah.
It was like the last days of that Nintendo 64 multiplayer, um,
Yep.
phase 2. I mean, it obviously depends on your age, but our high school careers, whatever you call it, our high school years were pretty much cut in half, with the beginning half being Nintendo 64 and the second half being GameCube.
Yeah.
So it was like the end of those four-player couch co-op parties.
Yeah, yeah. And I've shared on here. I had the whoever made it the external screen you could put on top of your GameCube.
Oh yeah.
I had the extra battery. I had the GBA player, and I love that. I love that so many people brought up this week that you could play GBA games on your GameCube
Yep.
with the connection of a GBA player. So
I
thanks
have
for
that still too.
so
I didn't have the screen for it, but what we did have, my setup, as you would say, is I had like one of those 12-inch TVs that had a built-in VCR that you would see at like movie rental stores. I had one of those
Yeah.
that we would put to the side if we wanted to have a second screen.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, GameCube was huge. Like just think about that, guys. Like so many big games, yet the console sold just okay. Like it was just okay because, and I think maybe at the time, I mean, games were super popular then, but I guess it's the beginning of Xbox. Um, you're going up against PS2. Like I guess that's the reason why it wasn't a lack of interest. That's for sure. All right, N64. So one of the most important console releases. September 29th, 1996, releases with Mario 64 and Pilot Wings. Early 1997, different in Japan, we get Mario Kart 64, released February 10th in North America. Star Fox 64, April 27th in North America. In July 17th, we get GoldenEye 007. And then This is all right. I'll go a little bit later. Diddy Kong Racing is 2 months after the actual year, so
Okay.
let's kind of throw that in there. We'll kind of throw that in there a little bit. Yoshi's Story is March 1998. It's pretty far outside, but make up your own rules on this one. And of course, it's such a monumental launch because it is the introduction of true 3D analog and just a ton of
Hmm.
iconic games. Sean, I'm going with you first. Sean, we have the GameCube or the N64.
I have a lot of good memories of the N64, but this was not a console I owned. Uh, Kind of odd that Mario Kart and Diddy Kong came out the same year. Didn't realize that. So interesting. But
They were like 7 months apart, but yeah.
yeah. Well, I
Multiple
mean,
racing
Switch
games
2
in the
has had a
year.
whole barrage of racing games one after the other. So I got to go with GameCube. I don't know. I I'm very vocal on here. I have no love of Mario 64 and whatnot. So for me, there's really nothing here that stands out enough for me to put that above the GameCube.
Kevin, what do you got?
I mean, I think I'm going with GameCube as well, though obviously like this was a huge year for Nintendo because they were behind in the race. Like the PlayStation had already been on the shelves for a year and the Nintendo 64 got delayed multiple times. I think it got delayed 3 times and they were just building up a library, and one of those delays was literally because Mario 64 wasn't ready yet. One of the delays was they delayed a whole system release for that one game, which tells you how different things were back then. Um, so yeah, GameCube was better. I realized this is probably more important historically, but I think if we're just looking at
Mhm.
like which system had the better library in its first year, I'm going to go with GameCube. If you're going with which system had the most important first year, it's Nintendo 64, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
I think
yeah.
so. I think so. More important and more nostalgic. Like N64 will always be that system of like. I think a lot of people would pick this system if they're like somewhere around our age, but they didn't really play video games too much as they got older. Um, because somebody could look at the list and be like, Mario 64 and GoldenEye, it's this one. This is the best one, isn't it? But yeah, I would go with GameCube, and really, it's not really close for me. I mean, the importance and the nostalgia make it significant, but beyond
And
that,
Mario Kart and Star Fox are no slouches either.
oh yeah,
Right.
oh sure, absolutely. Um, just yeah, so many core memories, so important, but that's not the conversation we're having. We got two more systems. SNES launched on April 23rd, 1991 in North America. Launched with Super Mario World, F-Zero, Pilot Wings, Sim City. Holy cow. Early or November 1991 was Link to the Past. So less than 3 months after. Early 1992 in North America, we saw Super Castlevania 4, ActRaiser, Final Fantasy 2, which was a Final Fantasy 4 in Japan. August 1992, we got Super Mario Kart, and late 1992, slightly after 1 year, we got Street Fighter 2. Um, Big big upgrade from the NES Mode 7 scaling. Just big graphical upgrade from the NES. A lot bigger carts as well. Lot more storage. So, um Kevin, you're the SNES guy. So, is this one tough for you? GameCube or SNES?
I think I'm going with SNES. Super Mario World, I remember like just completely taking over my life back then. F-Zero was a huge game for me, even though I never really followed the series much afterwards. All of these games, Pilot Wings, I still to this day am hoping Sim City comes to NSO because it's one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. It's my favorite version of Sim City. I love it. I play it emulated. It's amazing. You got the best Zelda game in there, my favorite Zelda game, A Link to the Past. It's like so much of the Super Nintendo was doing the NES game again, but better. You know what I mean? Like, A Link to the Past is just a souped up version of The Legend of Zelda. Castlevania
Mm.
4 is just a souped up version of Castlevania. Mega Man X is just a souped up Mega Man. Like they were like, yeah, this is what we wished we could have done on the NES. Uh, Earthbound. Earthbound is a souped up version of Earthbound Beginnings. They're like the same game. Um, yeah, I could keep going on and on, but I'm picking Super Nintendo. Love it. That's where I'm at.
And Sean, I want you to be the tiebreaker because
Okay.
I'm going GameCube. SNES has a really strong first year and a very, very impactful first year with everything I named off. So, what do you have? Because I'm picking GameCube.
So SNES was my first system. Uh, yeah, definitely played a lot of these games at launch. Have a lot of memories of them. All of it. It's a strong release year. Um, but I got to go with GameCube. I think GameCube actually had a better first year release calendar than SNES, and part of it is this is when video games in the world became a thing to me. So I wasn't, unless I was on the bus and people had Nintendo Power, I was unaware of game releases and target windows and all these things. So if I get another game, I get another game. I have no idea when the hell it came out. So for me, it they all kind of blur together at that time. So yeah, I got to give it to GameCube.
I think this one's close. I think this one is close. I don't know if this one is number two for me, but it might be number three as far as the strongest first year goes. Very impactful. So GameCube now, and then we'll just compare it to our final guy, the NES. Uh, the NES launched October 18th, 1985. We had the crash in 1983, and this is a console they consider to save gaming. Launched with Super Mario Bros. And Duck Hunt, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Gyromate, baseball, tennis, um, and more. Legend of Zelda came out February 1986 in Japan, August 1987 in North America. But I'm still counting it as a first year. So I'm still going to count it since it came out in Japan. Metroid,
Okay.
August 1986 in Japan, 1987 North America. Again, make your own rules on this. Kid Icarus, December 1986 in Japan, 1987 North America. And a lot of these games don't have actual like solid release dates, which I find fascinating. Castlevania
Mhm.
came
Yeah.
out in 1986. Mega Man came out pretty late in North America, December 1987.
Yeah, when I had to
So,
make the spreadsheet, I've noticed there's like until you get to like the Nintendo 64 era, like a lot of times it'll just tell you the month the game came out or sometimes even the season. It'll be like it was a summer 91 release and it's
right.
really weird.
Right, but yeah, Balloon Fight, which we covered today, is the same thing. Um,
Mm.
that yeah, exactly. So this might be the most important system of all time. It might be. You could argue for it. I would still go GameCube by a very large margin. Sean, how about you?
Tough because you don't have GameCube without this.
Mm.
This is where everything starts.
Sure.
Yeah, it's tough because, like you said, there's no definitive like release dates on some of this stuff. Um, it had a lot of releases year one. They weren't all good, but it had a lot. I think for quality over quantity, I'll go GameCube, but absolutely doesn't take away from how important the NES is.
Yep. Kevin?
I'll be the odd man out again, even though it's 2-1 already. But I think if you have to put yourself into somebody's shoes the year this came out, um, I think we take for granted these days how mind-blowing each of these titles was, and to see that they all came
Yeah,
out the same year is crazy. Like Super Mario Brothers cemented the platformer, and to see that Legend of Zelda is also in there, and Metroid is all, and Castlevania and Mega Man and all these games that like defined, I feel like, the era, and they were their first installments of those franchises were year ones. Um, it's pretty crazy.
Well, I'm happy that we had some disagreement because I think that just means that we kind of came to a conclusion, but I think our conclusion
It's
is
easy to
that
disagree when there's not like a prize or something.
well, yeah, and I mean, if we were
Nobody
going
wins.
game libraries like in total, that's a whole
Yeah,
different thing.
yeah, that too.
right.
So
Right. I thought it was an interesting thought experiment because when I look back at the Wii, I was like, oh yeah, like and the life cycle looks a lot different than just that first
yeah,
year. But there was so much hype around that system at a good price point that yeah, Nintendo. You can see trends with Nintendo. Like even though they've gone through different ownership, different shareholders, that they can push momentum and they can ride things out. Kevin, as you said, so so cool. GameCube wins, but everybody leave your comments down below. This was yeah super fun. Let's transition quickly. Sean, you want to tell us about Resident Evil? How you're feeling
yeah.
about
So
that?
Resident Evil 9,
Biohazard.
yes, well,
The
Resident Evil
full name.
9 Requiem released simultaneously on Switch 2, PlayStation, and Xbox. I just thought that was really cool because I can't think of the last big AAA game that got the release the same time on a Nintendo console. Switch was notorious for, you know, there'd be a trailer and it would be at a later date. Um, the funny thing for me, I've brought this up before, so reviews say that it performs better than the Xbox Series S version. Um, I'm the only person who didn't like the remake of 4 because I played it on Series S because of the fact it ran so awful. So I would get this on Switch too. Um, from what I could find, it's the best reviewed new mainline game since Resident Evil 4 way back on the GameCube in 2005. That's the other thing that's crazy to me is there was a period in time where Nintendo were the only ones willing to take on a Resident Evil game. I know it's
They had
been
a they had
ported,
a Capcom agreement was what it was, but yeah.
but yeah, I mean it's been ported 100 times now, but it is getting amiibos in July that give you weapon skins, I guess, because amiibos. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. It's getting good reviews. Like I said, Capcom with their Resident Evil engine have seemed to figure out how to get things to run on Switch too. Um, so I don't know. I'm looking forward to it, getting into this one eventually. I don't know if you guys. I know Kevin has a big gap in Resident Evils, and then I've played kind of different ones from different eras, but not all of them. So I don't know if either one of you guys are jumping on this at some point down the road.
Far down the road.
Okay.
But I have had the thought a few times. I got a lot on my plate right now, but someday I do want to play through a lot of these more modern day Resident Evils. So yeah, I might get back into the franchise and make it here. Um, we'll see.
And me, I don't know. Since he brought it up, I was watching the gameplay last night, and it's,
Yeah.
it's pretty scary. It is pretty. It is
Yeah.
pretty scary. Um,
You're not big on the horror stuff, so might not be
Yeah, but it
might not
it
be
it
for
does
you.
it does look great. 'Cause I was watching some different versions, like PC versions, and like it
Yeah.
does look really really nice. D- Do you guys ever look at a game that was supported by Google Stadia and get reminded by that? Resident Evil Reverse was on the Google.
Was it?
It was
Oh,
Stadia,
wow.
right? Right, Stadia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stadia.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, but I was looking through the order of games, um,
that's funny.
to
So,
see.
yeah, like I
My
said, it's nice to
my
see
question about
third party.
Resident Evil is when did it become all about Leon? Because I feel like in the
Right
beginning,
around 4.
yeah, 4, yeah. It was a rhetorical question, but I just wanted to say, like, I feel like the beginning of the franchise was very Jill centered, and it's funny that Leon at some point turned that table and made it his franchise.
Dude, that's what's funny, so I've never played the original games. I dabbled a little bit with the remake of the first one that was still in the tank style, but the only ones I've actually played through are the remake of 2, the original version of 4, probably almost every time they re-released it because 'cause I'm stupid, the remake of 4, 7, 8, and I think that's it. So there's a bunch of them I've never played.
I mean, love the first original one. I feel like the tank controls really add to the horror element of it because when something jumps out at you, you're like, "Oh my god," and you don't know what to do, and it like adds to your panic. Um, so and the second one is great. I never was really big on the third one, but I played it a lot because that's what you did back then. Um, but yeah, the first two, I would recommend going back and playing the original versions of if you can contextualize where video games were at the time.
Harrison, have you played through any of them ever, or has this just never been a thing?
I did have the original PlayStation, so I did play through the first one.
Okay.
I probably not after that though. I might have played through some other ones, but uh, yeah. Yeah, just the original one. It might be a series I get into because there are like so many that are available on Switch, and
Yeah, it's a pretty big library of them on there now, and this gets
Mhm.
7 and 8 out of the cloud service finally, so that's nice.
yeah, yeah, that's that's awesome. And I can talk to us a little bit about Pokemon everything from this week, but Sean, how about you just
Yeah, we should have said that up front. It was a Pokemon Presents this week.
It's Pokemon Presents this
Yeah,
week,
we we
but
were
we did
ranking
lead with a
consoles.
segment that did have a big conversation of this week as well. Um, and about the fun segments sometimes too. I think that's cool. But Sean, how about you tell us about the
Oh, yeah,
mhm,
yeah, so a lot of little game announcements this week, so I just wanted to bring this one up because I know Maximum Carnage has a special place in Kevin's heart.
Oh yeah.
So, the fall, the Marvel Maximum Collection is launching through Konami and Limited Run Games. I think it's the first time since Xbox 360 the X-Men arcade game will be available again,
I think so.
which will have six-player online, but with my experience with Shredder's Revenge with six people, that's almost impossible to figure out what's going on. It's going to have the arcade and home console versions of Captain America and the Avengers, the SNES Sega versions of Maximum Carnage and Separation Anxiety, the SNES, Sega, Game Boy, and Game Gear versions of Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. And if
I
you
didn't know there
truly
was.
just
Yep.
I
I
didn't
thought
know
that
there
was
were
a
that
super.
many versions of that, yeah.
I thought it was a Super Nintendo only and like maybe a handheld version. I didn't know there was a Genesis. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then if you really hate yourself, you can also play the NES Silver Surfer game.
Yeah,
So, I
so
mean, is this a
uh
collection you get for just for Maximum Carnage? I know you don't get the collections as often, but
no, I've got a few of these. They're on my wish list is what they are, but
okay.
uh yeah, definitely gonna get it for it's gonna depend on the price, of course. But I'm also excited about Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge. That's a game I played a lot growing up as well. And at one point I played it on an emulator with the goal of beating it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, it's a good thing this collection has save states and rewind because
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say X-Men's Spider-Man X-Men Arcade's Revenge is impossible without some sort of hacked device, without a
That
rewind or a save state.
that is one of the most infuriating games I owned.
The
I think I could
Gambit,
beat the Spider-Man level, and that was it.
um, I remember that there's like a stage where the Juggernaut is chasing you, and if you jump over him, you die. He
Yep.
he just basically has an invisible wall following him. Yeah, it's
Mm.
not a great game, but a game I have a lot of nostalgia for.
So, yeah, it's just I like to see all these collections coming. I don't know, Harrison, that these are a little before your time, but
Hell
any
yeah!
interest or
Well, I didn't see this news come out until you posted it, and then I messaged Matt from Geek Nation, who's been on this show before, because he's a
Oh
huge
yeah.
X-Men fan, and I was pretty sure it was the first time these games were. I mean, that game was coming out, so he was really excited about that. No, it's super cool. Not something I would pick up, but like I think these collections are really cool. So hell yeah, limited run.
Yeah, to play Maximum Carnage with save states is gonna be so good because that game actually is
yeah, that
doable.
game was difficult, but you could do it, and then Silver Surfer, I've never known the joy. I don't think I don't know anybody that owns separation anxiety, let alone if I've ever played it.
It's there was something about it that seemed like a bootleg game. Like the logo's a little off, like it reuses the same art style as Maximum Carnage, but the color palette got duller for some reason. It's like there's something
Yeah,
a little off about separation anxiety.
and then, I mean, the arcade game, that's synonymous with Chuck E. Cheese, that was always right next to Turtles in Time, so those just live together, but, no, I mean, I like seeing more of these collections, and I think the Ren and Stimpy one recently came out, but the fact it literally is missing one game, I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." But I'm glad that they keep doing it, and, the Disney Afternoon version 2
Oh yeah. Yep.
released recently too. But there's some games where it's like, "Yep, I remember playing that at my cousin's, but I can't lay money down to continue to suck at Rescue Rangers." So, happy it's out there, but I don't need it.
Very cool.
Good review. Happy it's out there, but I don't need it.
Well, as Kevin said, we did have an event. We actually had two events this week in this past week,
Mhm.
which we're already an hour in, so we're gonna circle back to these now. First, and I don't have too much to say, so I'll start with the first one,
Yeah,
which
balloon
was
fight can wait.
right,
Yeah, it's
right.
we can
That's what I
wait, it's
assumed
okay.
because we only have 1 week to talk about news when it comes out.
Yeah.
Really, everything's moving so quick. Treehouse had Bell Park DLC for Mario Wonder. It also had about a 40-minute presentation on Pokemon Pocopia. And my overall feel for it, I didn't watch it live. It seemed like, and rightfully so, that Treehouse should be catered to children, especially with Pocopia being more of a, I think, more of a children's focused game. But it's kind of odd, like they're on a couch and
Yeah,
the audio is never like their mics are always at different levels, and I think it would make more sense if they did something more like this, almost like where it was a live stream
Mhm.
and they're just playing the game. I understand they're very limited as far as what they can show off in the presentation, but to me it felt like this is a kids presentation, but they're trying to cater it to adults. um I just think they could have taken someone like beat 'em ups like Woodhawker, or like Scott the Wise, and threw him on a live
just somebody.
stream,
Yeah.
and it would have been a lot more
So,
fun.
I've never been able to get myself to watch an entire Treehouse because every single one of them comes off to me, and maybe that's it, is they need somebody they bring in to do these. But to me, the people there always seem utterly uncomfortable. It's like they've never touched a video game before. It's almost like they went outside and took some people off the street. And they're like, you're doing this for the next hour. Make it look fun. So I can't even get through tree houses. So when you were like, oh, and then they also did Pokopia, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. The
Right.
Mario one was rough. I can only imagine the Pokopia one being like, no, go over there, dude. No, don't go over there. You're gonna give that away. So yeah, they need a little more structure, and then maybe like an actual like so and so is gonna come out and do this.
Yeah.
Like I know
Conan
it's not the best.
O'Brien.
There you go. Have the clueless gamer do it. That would be fine.
Yeah.
But even
Yeah.
like when they'd have Miyamoto come out to show off a new Zelda or something, like have somebody come out who seems like they want to be there.
Yeah.
Because if this is supposed to sell me on the multiplayer, it's like, hey guys, you want to come over and just be uncomfortable to the degree that you all just want to scream?
Yeah. Well,
So
there's
yeah,
just a disconnect there with Nintendo. Like Nintendo, I don't know if Nintendo considers streaming to be like stealing at all because streaming should be something that's in the forefront for Nintendo.
yeah,
I think like you have games like Super Mario Maker. Why isn't that like one of the top like stream games on Twitch where you're like putting out
right.
that like hey people are playing Nintendo. So I'm always surprised like when you have great streamers like Point Crow, who I think is like the best Nintendo streamer. Why do you not just hire him to just go and do these events? So, anyways, it started with about 20 minutes of the Bella Bell DLC. Uh, looks cool. There's a lot of focus on local co-op, which I'll give them credit for. There's a good
Yeah,
amount of new content and this game sold over 17 million copies. So I would assume that a lot of people that have a Switch 2 also own this game. But as I was talking to a few guys this week, I just can't tell how much interest there is for it overall. It
I
sold a lot.
I think maybe half the people that bought it might get it. Maybe
Less.
less. Yeah,
I don't
I don't
know.
think there's a lot of interest because, like Harrison said, it's a lot. It's very multiplayer focused, and not a lot of expansion for the single player experience. And yeah, I just maybe it's my algorithm, but I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it.
I haven't seen anyone say, "Oh yeah, can't wait for this."
Yeah.
So
But there's also nobody in my algorithm that's like, hell yeah, Mario Wonder. But then I look it up and it's like 17 million copies sold, including the one that I bought. So,
Yeah, but that
like,
was a holiday release, hyped up a lot. I don't know. I really think I'll bet it's going to do whatever Nintendo wants it to do for the numbers,
yeah,
but
2D Mario
I
is gonna
don't think
sell.
it's not gonna set the world on fire.
I'm convinced at any point a 2D Mario game is gonna sell over 10 million copies.
I
Uh,
think this will do more for the and I remember seeing somebody speculate that Nintendo was learning from Concerned Ape because every time he updates um Stardew Valley, he sells more copies of Stardew Valley. So I
yeah,
think this might do more for the base game sales than it does for the DLC, and they might generate new interest for Mario Wonder just by having this.
yeah, maybe.
right? And shout out Eric Concerned Dave. He has had his 10th year
Yep.
anniversary. Pocopia had about a 40-minute presentation overall. Didn't show off too much. Looks really cute. The animations look great. The UI looks like it's straight from Animal Crossing. So, no surprise. You know, we got an update with Animal Crossing, and I think they're going to be looking at what this game does for maybe a future Animal Crossing game. And honestly, I don't hate that the UI looks similar. Um I just want it to work. I don't mind if things look similar if it does work. That would be my only
Yeah.
question. There are so far 97 Pokemon that we know about in the game from what we've seen. So I
Yeah.
don't know if there's like 150 overall, but we have seen and confirmed 97 overall. So there's a lot. I
People
think
work
there's a lot of
fast on that
content
stuff,
there.
man. Like I saw fan art for the starters like an hour at less than an hour, I feel like after they were revealed. Like people were right on that.
For Gen 10.
For Gen 10, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking about Pokoki. My bad.
yeah.
You were talking about
That's
Pokoki.
okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
sorry.
That's okay. But yeah, Pocopia is gonna have easily over 100 monsters, which is a lot. I think there's gonna be a lot there. I'm gonna wait and see what the customization is like and see if I'm the right audience for it. Like, is this more for children or is it going to be more like Dragon Quest Builders where it's just extremely dense? The value is going to be there even if you pay full price for it. So that was
Mhm.
the Treehouse event. Um, yeah. So but that does lead us right. I mean, they did show off Pokopia in the Pokemon Presents, so we might as well just segue to that. Pokemon Presents
Mhm.
was on Pokemon Day, the 27th, about 25 minutes, and no big surprises overall. I do like, I did like the presentation. Like they did mobile games,
Okay.
they did all the mobile games, but um, it was kept pretty short and pretty quick. We are getting Pokemon Champions April 2026 for the Switch and then later on for mobile. So I was happy about that. We got Fire Red Leaf Green in February. We get Pokopia in March. We get Pokemon Champions in April. This is looking pretty. I mean, we get Gale of Darkness also in
Oh yeah.
March for GameCube NSO. I've never played it. Looking forward to it. Like I'm like whenever it comes up, hopefully it comes up sooner than later on here. I'm gonna play through it. So I thought it was gonna be Pokemon Coliseum before Gale of Darkness, but cool, cool with
Is that like a more obscure GameCube game?
yes, and I
Yeah.
forget the
Okay.
I forget the developer, but apparently the developers didn't know anything about Pokemon before developing it.
Huh.
But
Interesting.
but yeah, it is interesting, and it's also interesting too to see how many GameCube games have a higher user scored and critic score. It's often like the
Yeah.
opposite for like a lot of modern games.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So that was a lot of it. That was presentation. The beginning they showed off that the Pokemon game music collection. So I shared a few guys for like 1 second. I thought, are they re-releasing the Game Boy? And what it is just an MP3 player that has 45 different cartridges. Each one plays a different song. It it's very much like they're doing hit clips again, like
Yeah.
a very
Mhm.
Yep.
old technology. I'm sure it sounds better
It's a
than hit
collectible,
clips. It's a collectible. It's pretty big. Like, like
not meant for mass consumption.
I guess it's kind of cool that you
No.
get 45 cards, but the cards kind of do look similar. Like they're different, but they from the front they kind of look similar, and it's a $70. You might not even open it up if you buy it. I get it, but
It it was the weirdest reveal because of the way they did it. And I'm like, are you guys like purposely poking the bear a little bit here at the beginning to be like, haha, no, it's this thing.
yeah,
So I was like, well, I guess it's good I'm not a Pokemon fan because the way they presented it probably would have annoyed me. But I
yeah,
mean, it's a collectible, like Kevin said, so they're sold out, I'm pretty sure. So good luck if you
Exactly.
want one.
I think we've gotten to the point where I'm like, I know that hardware releases are always a big deal for Nintendo, but if you want to release the Game Boy, you could probably do it. You could probably do it if you wanted to. Like as even if it was just a collector item or if it was something
Yeah.
bigger, you could probably re-release the Game Boy if you wanted to, guys. Um, and it could sell for more than $100. So that's what I thought at first. I was like, perhaps, like that would be funny. Like, oh, I can't play the Pokemon game, so I have to play it on my Switch. I'm moving on, anyways. And then that was pretty much it. And then at the very end, no surprise, the one more thing was um was Generation 10. The surprising part
Hmm.
is that the release window is in 2027 and that it's a Switch 2 exclusive. As the person without a Switch 2, I'm here to say that I think both of those things are extremely good things. None of us need a Rush Pokemon game. All of us got plenty of things we can play. This to me shows that they might have a different focus with Pokemon Champions coming out. That's great. Have your
Hmm.
live service game and focus some merchandise around that, but then
Yep.
hopefully we can get some more resources with these mainline games. And of course, we
Well, yeah, because
saw
the environments already looked more polished than anything we got on the Switch. So that's also a good sign that it seems like they're putting the development time into this one and they're not giving
Yeah.
us grass that looks like I don't even know how to describe the environments in Pokemon Violet. It's just way too plastic looking, you
right.
know?
Yeah, it's way too flat. And of course, it's good to point out that the footage that we saw was, of course, taken on a PC that they're developing it on, but all the optimism is there for better environments. I mean, the optimism, of course, is there for it, and it looks like we're somewhere in Southeast Asia. I think it's Indonesia. It might be Philippines. Looks like Maldives. So that's super cool. And they have three new starters: grass, water, fire. I do have questions on whether this water starter becomes a dragon. Um,
Mm.
and I'm not crazy on any of them. Pombon, the fire Pomeranian, looks super cute,
Yep.
but I'm afraid because apparently I didn't know this, but only one starter since Generation 6 has not become humanoid. So none of them actually stay on four legs. They all like that's what ruined it with Quaxley. So I think what I need to do, I need to see the evolutions first before I decide.
Yeah, with Scarlet and Violet, I tried to not spoil it, and I went with Quaxley, and I'll just say this time I'm gonna spoil it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
see what I'm in for.
yeah. I get that we were in Spain and Quaxley's
Yeah.
like whatever the evolution's
Nothing
called.
against Quaxley, it's just the other two, well, especially, I forget the cat one, was so much cooler.
Right, right. And then I get that it evolves into a flamenco dancer because
Mm.
you're in Spain, but I wasn't that crazy about it. So I want to see is Pombon gonna stay on four legs?
'Cause
If so, I'm going with him.
before the game came out, there were people doing speculations on what the evolutions would be, and if you can still find it, I'll try to put it on our socials. Um, there was a really good fan art of a fully evolved Quaxley that was like an admiral in the Navy or something. Like it looked really cool, and I was hoping
I
for
think
something
I've
like that.
seen that,
Yeah.
which is weird because I'm not a Pokemon guy. But so Harrison, pretty happy with it overall.
I, I'm happy seeing that it's gonna come out 2027. We were 100% correct on the title from all the leaks, Wind and Waves. We pretty much knew that. And it's also Wind, I think, is more of like a teal green color. Waves is of course a blue color, so it's not like a red and blue or like a purple and blue like last time. I'm I'm really excited about it. And it gives me time to get a Switch 2 whenever this comes out in 2027. And probably the big picture, um, yes, exactly.
There is.
Exactly. But it didn't look like that. And then probably the biggest excitement that we haven't talked about, where we can kind of sum up this whole episode. The winter release this year is not Pokemon.
Yeah.
So what is it going to be? Because I think I know what it might be, and it's the game that I keep bringing up every week. And
Resident Evil Mario.
right,
Oh,
right. Something like that.
I still feel strongly that we are going to get an announcement on Mario Day. Um, and it's coming faster than we realize. It's going to be here in like what, like a week at this point,
Like 10
a week and
days?
a half.
Yeah.
So, I think we'll get an announcement on Mario Day. But that could be for a summer release if it's a Mario Day announcement. It could be that soon. So, I still don't know if I'd be willing to bet on something for Christmas yet.
But we gotta get something for the holidays.
Oh yeah, we'll have something.
Now we will most likely get Dust Bloods, but that's not a first party release. So
Mhm.
I mean, all I've said on here many times. After Echoes of Wisdom was announced, I think all bets are off as far as what they could actually do. I mean, if they release a 3D Zelda this year, I would not be that surprised about it. But I,
Pikmin 5.
bam.
yeah, 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 sure.
They would
I'll
never
watch
make
all the
that their
Arlo
holiday
videos for
game.
it. I'll watch all the Arlo reactions about it. So it could be a lot of things, but I'm just gonna hammer that we're gonna get a 3D Mario this year and maybe around the holidays. It's something around the
I think
holidays.
Mario Day. I'm waiting on it.
Oh, So, so
We shall see.
very cool. So I mean that will sum up the end of that part, ending with possibly the biggest news that could be coming out in the future. The fact that this is not a holiday release. Um, with that, guys, I I I I think Balloon Guy's gotta wait. Balloon Kid.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
gonna wait.
we'll talk about
Balloon
that
Kid's
next week.
gotta wait till next week. So um
Save your balloon comments.
yeah, yeah. If you tuned in this week for some balloon fight, it's like bait and switch is what we call it in the media space.
They're gonna
So
talk about the balloon games, Pokemon Direct, and a treehouse. What about this trailer? Hold on. Yeah.
yeah, but I wouldn't say that I'm an expert on the balloon fight games, but I would say that I am a fan. So I might get something wrong about that. Kevin?
Oh, I thought you were doing the outro.
I was doing
So
the
yeah,
outro, but that's all I got.
thank you all for listening and thank you for subscribing to those of you who have. We really appreciate it. It helps out the show. Leave a comment down below. That helps out the show as well. Even if you just say, great job this week, guys. Yay. Um, and what else? Check out our other shows. We got a new Ninja Turtle Nerds episode up. Harrison's always talking on his podcast. Check out all those shows. The link tree is on that QR code there. And we will see you all next week for more Nintendo news. Goodbye.